just how easy you think it is to make $200 or better in a day when it is slow as it is in my market and probably your market. Find out whether I make $200 or more on this segment of the Gig Geezer. It is Wednesday afternoon, May 11, 2022, and I am just out now for my second half hustle. I may be about 10-15 minutes late, but the way things have been lately, I'm not sure if this make that much of a difference though. My first half hustle, I finished at $102 and change. If memory serves me correct, $102.30. It took me actually 5 hours to do that. Yes, 5 hours. Usually I'd say my hustles last anywhere between 3 and 4.5 hours. Last few days, in the last week or so, at least 3 of my first half hustles have pushed 5 hours. Yes. And I'm almost thinking that's going to be commonplace now, especially during the summer months. Once school lets out in a couple of weeks, I really think that's going to be the common thing. But anyway, hey, if this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. And if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, you may see that the fro has been modified somewhat. Yeah, well, when I did not go out for yesterday evening's hustle, I was actually about 1 block to my right as I'm documenting this, getting a haircut. Actually, a rare haircut throughout the year. But that said, thanks for stopping by for this segment of the Gig Geezer. My first half hustle, again, I finished at $102.30. It was actually earned through 3 apps: DoorDash, surprisingly Grubhub, and Instacart. Did not see an order from Uber Eats or Waiter/Bike Squad that even piqued my curiosity. Nothing from Roadie, nothing from Point Pickup. Am I surprised? No. Am I surprised at how slow the frequency of orders have come? No. Perusing some content creators' channels of late, I'm noticing where folk are really having a more sober tone to their content, and that just about all of them are admitting just how difficult it is these days, how slow it is these days. And just like that, I've accepted my first order of this evening hustle. It's a $9 offer from Chili's. According to Parrot, it's supposed to make $10.75. That's probably the reason why I accepted it. During the first half hustle, I accepted a $7.50 order because Parrot suggested I was going to pay $8.70, and I guessed wrong. That order paid exactly $7.50. Now, what I acknowledged, at least during that first half hustle, is that most orders on Para, the ones that will actually pay the money that what many of us have kind of shown in our content, are the ones where the orders have a star by them. Those are the ones in which the orders actually are pretty close to paying, I want to say, within 50 cents of each other. And what I mean by of each other is what Paris suggests and what the order actually paid. They typically are within 50 cents. Now, also earlier today, I accepted a $12.91 Instacart order. It had altogether, I want to say, it was less than 20 items. And that's one reason why I took it, but also because it was coming off of a $19.45 DoorDash order, and it was at the beginning of my hustle. And I'm thinking that, okay, let's not be stupid here. You got a chance to come back with an order that it was 5 items. In fact, it was 5 items on that order, and I think that's the reason why I took it. It was from Walgreens. The Walgreens was probably about 6 minutes from the DoorDash drop-off location. And as it turned out, it happened to be the customer was someone whom I've delivered to on multiple occasions. So it turned out to be the right decision. After the first hour, I was actually at $41, $42. But then man, over the next, do the math. Over the next 4 hours, man, I coughed and gasped across the finish line at $102. In fact, what got me over the $100 mark was accepting a $14.05 22 item Instacart order from Public. The order actually paid $13.89. There were there were multiple substitutions and a couple of refunds on that order. But that said, I am about probably 3 minutes away from the Chili's pickup, and I'll resume this conversation once I leave Chili's. All right, I'm a couple minutes removed from having picked up the DoorDash order. It was waiting on me once I arrived. And on my way now to dropping off the order, I accepted a $10.73 offer from Grubhub. It's from Tokyo Grill, and it's going to take me a little bit of a distance. I say the total trip is going to be, it's showing 15 miles, but it's not 15 miles. I promise you, it's not 15 miles. It's more like about 8.5. And I believe it's based on a route that takes you kind of the long way. The route that I'm going to take is going to cut that distance in half. But that said, I accepted that order because it kind of allows me to connect the dots, because I can pick up that order before I drop off the DoorDash order, and then hope that I can connect the dots yet again and actually stack orders on top of this Grubhub opportunity. The main point of this segment of the Gig Geezer is to talk about just how easy you think it is to make $200 a day or more during these slow times. And I've hinted at it before in recent segment of the Gig Geezer, but I'm going to really kind of elaborate on it. Now, one driver whose content I noticed today, he said, hey, any day I can make over $200, that's a good day. I think he has a pretty realistic approach to things, even though he has had his share of days. In fact, he had a very good day on Sunday, Mother's Day. I mean, I made $275. He made 360 something, 380 something. It was well over $350. I mean, I felt like I ain't do nothing compared to him. But he's had more than his share of rough days as well. Now, that's one driver who gives a kind of realistic approach to things. But then I saw another driver make a big deal about making $200 a couple of days in a row, and then on the third day he was under $200. I'm not trying to knock him, but I'm painting a picture for you. Now, I've seen another guy who has a very popular he has a very large following. He had a much sober tone to his dialogue. In fact, he was encouraging folk to get on as many apps as you can. It's not like it was a year ago or 2 years ago. He didn't say that, but that's what I've been saying all along. But when you think about it, now, those of you who have followed me, I have documented how I have made $200 or more 44 consecutive days and 32 consecutive days. That's just in 2022. And $200 is the norm for me. In fact, this video that you see, the thumbnail of this Gig Geezer segment is my most watched one to date, in which I share how to make $200 a day or more during these slow times. Okay? Now, I'm coming back by posing the question, how easy it is. It's not easy. That's all I'm getting at. It is not easy as what you think. If you don't have the volume of orders, it's going to be rough. If you don't get the right orders, it's going to be rough. It's that simple. And so, if you go out there thinking $200, you're going to be disappointed. This is why I keep saying you have to have that expectation. Now, I can probably end this segment of Gig Geezer right there by just telling you got to have the volume and you got to have the right orders. But then again, you have to put yourself in a position possibly to get those orders. And so I came back by sharing how, you have to have the right time management. You have to, you have to question. You have to pose the question to yourself about your time investment into these orders. How much time you invest in these orders. All this affects how you make $200 or more in your given hustle. And so here we are. We're much closer to the summer break. There are going to be thirsties galore out there. So for those of you who are still checking out this segment of the Gig Geezer, hey, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Now, the other thing is that it is very easy to become discouraged when you do see things as slow as they are. Now, on Sunday, Mother's Day, I actually ended my evening hustle after 4 hours because it just got progressively worse. I realized that I was wasting my time being out there because A, the volume of orders had dropped off, but B, there was that hyper saturation, as I call it, that deluge of thirsties out there that made it even rougher. Now, I can't knock people for coming out here and trying to make it happen. In fact, some do. But for those of you who are like me, whose main income has been derived by gig economy work, that's something that you have to work through. That's something that you have to work beyond, work past, overcome, if you will. And sometimes there are a lot of days I don't have an answer. I think all I tell myself is that I just got to keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. I thought about this earlier today, but in my early days as an insurance agent, we often heard that it was a numbers game. Now, I was told by sales managers when I first started as a captive life insurance agent that you may, out of 100 people you approach, you may actually write 1 or 2 policies, tops. You may get 5 to 10 appointments out of those 110 people you approach, but again, out of that 1 or 2 policies you may write. So you're looking at a rejection rate of 90% or higher, and you're looking at a success rate of 1 or 2%. Those aren't great numbers. But then what they also tell you is that you need to average about 15 appointments a week in order to try to get those 1, 2, maybe 3 policies. Yeah. But what I'm getting at, there is some truth that it is a numbers game. And even with the gig economy work, it is a numbers game that you have to be somewhat adept at deciphering. Some people go in and say, I'm taking an order. And it may not be the best order, but they're taking the order. Some of them say, well, I get tired of these $2 and $3 and $4 and $5 orders that come across. And that's exactly what happened on Sunday with one. In fact, ironically, I picked up from Chili's, and while I was at Chili's on Sunday, it was a little bit of an explosive situation that occurred in there. A lady customer who'd been waiting for her order had it out with the to-go person and with the manager, the shift manager. And there was a thirsty driver, and I'm going to call him a thirsty driver because of the way he went about doing things. He said he was tired of the $2, $3, $4, $5 orders, and then he had a $25 order that he'd been waiting an hour for. I told him I wouldn't wait for it. I just wouldn't. That's just me. Earlier today, I passed on a $9.59 Chick-fil-A order. In fact, if you see on the inset, that's the traffic there at that Chick-fil-A. The order was going like 2.5 miles, but when I saw the traffic, I knew that was a 20-minute wait in that Chick-fil-A line, and I wasn't going to do it. And so I figured, well, someone else would be more than willing to wait that long for that type of an order. And so I went on. Now, here's what I'm getting at. During the pandemic era, you had orders coming left and right. you had, I mean, you could turn off apps at a time and just concentrate on one app because of the volume of orders. But I submit to you, if you want to thrive in these slower times, you're best to learn how to toggle between apps. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. I toggle between 7 apps. That's just me. All right, so we dropped off the Grubhub order and the DoorDash order. So both of those paid a combined $19.98, and I'm right at about an hour into the second half hustle. Not good. And I've not really been in position for anything else, and so I'm in the process of migrating somewhere else to be in a position to hopefully catch some decent orders. I talked about this being a numbers game. It is a numbers game to some extent, but I mean, I don't know if folk really want to. I don't know if that's a mindset that you should. I don't know if that's a mindset that people really want to adapt, though. But it is a numbers game. No matter what, when I'm out here, and I just picked up I accepted, and I've already picked up a $10.25 Stoner Pizza order. That's the first order I've had in over half an hour, and we're looking at right at about an hour and a half into this second half hustle, and I'm probably going to be at about $30 or so. $30. That's not good. One of the things that one of the thoughts that come to mind is that as I've been out here, even as I've documented my hustles and all, what I've never tried to do is modify my daily goals. I've always tried to go for those goals, whatever it is. Now, my worst day this year is $1.45. I had a couple other days like $1.70s. I think they were in the $1.70s, but my absolute worst day so far this year is $1.45, and that was back up in January. In fact, it was I don't remember the exact circumstances behind it though, but I do remember the first half hustle. I was out for like four hours, and I made $45, and then I came back in the evening hustle and got to $1.45 for the day. I never did modify the goal. I accepted that I just took an ass beating that day. I'm not trying to accept an ass beating today. My goal is to win. That's all I can say. The goal is to win every day. Well, all right, so that order paid $10.25, and it looks like we're heading back to Stoner for another order. This offers for $8.75. I mean, I kid you not, I have not seen any orders come across any app. I mean, Grubhub has been dead for the last hour. Uber Eats has been dead all day. Waiter/Bite Squad has been non-existent all day. There's not been a lot going on. I mean, I've not seen it like this before. But the DoorDash order for $10.25 brings the daily total to $1.32, and for the evening hustle, $30. If I'm not mistaken, $30.23, and we're talking 1.75 hours into this hustle, man. I mean, that's what I do in an hour. A lot of days. Not today. Not this evening. Not this particular evening hustle or evening grind. No. Alrighty. Well, I've picked up this second Stoner Pizza order. There was about a 7 to 10 minute wait. And while I was waiting for the Stoner order, I accepted a point pickup order from a Walmart. That's probably going to be about 12 minutes or so from the drop-off location for this DoorDash order. The amount for that point pickup order is for $11.80, and it's going, according to the app, about 7.8 miles. So that is my way of stacking orders. You stack that's another $20 on top of things, and that puts me at $50, and probably at about $50 in about 2.75 hours. This ain't going too well tonight. I happen to make conversation with another DoorDash driver who obviously is out there just, and she's like, man, this is only my second pickup, and I've been out here almost 2 hours. It's just been that way. Now, probably with this one right here, there are people who are probably rooting for the gig geezer not to make $200 or more. And you may have reason for celebration today. You just might have reason for celebration today because it is that bad out here. But again, I am not going to modify my goal. For all I know, on my way back, I might catch one of those bomb of an orders that requires catering bags and put all you haters to shame. But we shall see. So, I am about 3 full minutes away from dropping off the DoorDash order. And then from there, it's about 12 minutes over to the Walmart location. Hopefully that Walmart will know what they're doing. I have had reasonable success picking up orders from that location. So I'll get back with you in a little while. Well, upon dropping off the Stoner order for $8.75, which put me over, I think, $1.41 for today, that point pickup order was canceled. And so I don't know if I get anything. I don't think I get any cancellation money from point pickup. So it's pretty dire out here. I am just over 2 hours into this hustle, almost 2.5 hours into this hustle, and I mean I'm at $40. I can't even fathom that. Meanwhile, I'm getting alerts from Coinbase and from Crypto.com that Ethereum and Bitcoin and a few others are cratering tonight, and so it's just that type of day right now, y'all. I'm kind of glad that I had gotten out of the crypto, for by and large, gotten out of the crypto a couple of months ago, because I couldn't stomach losing what I was losing then. When I got back into cryptos last fall, I made some quick money on Shiba Inu. I made a few $100s on Shiba Inu, and then I parlayed that money into a bunch of other cryptos, and then put additional monies into that, to where I had invested like, I want to say like $1,200 to $1,400 in cryptos, thinking that I could, keep continuing with the success I had with cryptos, and I ended up losing half. Now, rule of thumb with crypto is that you only invest what you can stand to lose. I could only stand to lose half when I got out, and I'm glad that I did, because if I stayed any longer, I'd probably be at about 20% of what I had invested. All right, I have accepted an order that's going to take me back on the side of town where I live, and I'm also hoping that I can stack that into something else. I've gambled like this in the past, and have most times succeeded in that you take an order that doesn't really make sense, but then hopefully you get like a stack by the app itself. Let's say, if in this case DoorDash, it's showing 16 miles for $14.75. But it's not gonna take me 16 miles to get there. I promise you that. Not the route that I'll be taking. DoorDash is showing a round the world route, and I'm gonna take one that cuts right through it. That said, you hope that DoorDash may stack that order, or you may catch an order or two from a couple other apps, and then you've got a nice little double stack or even a triple play. And that as any of you who have been regular visitors of the Gig Geezer, you have seen me do that, where I have stacked orders when it does not seem possible. Probably the most sobering thing about today in general is the fact that I've not been able to stack many orders. Most of the stacking occurred during the first half hustle. During the evening hustle, it's been pretty much one and outs. And I mean, in this market, doing one and outs, you're not going to make money. You're going to be very stagnant in what you're doing. one order here, one order there, one order there, again here, and that's where I'm at, man. That's probably why I'm at $50. And if I count this order, basically $55, $56 in 2.5 hours, because I'm only getting one order at a time, and it's been on one app. Now, I just saw a couple of I've seen 3 Grubhub orders come through, but none of them are orders that I would take, and none of them are orders that I would go to. This particular order on DoorDash, I'm risking it because it's at Main Moon. Well, Main Moon has been an interesting case most of the time, in that they're slow. And what's comical about them is that there's a lady who pretty much quarterbacks everything, and she's arguing with everybody because apparently they don't keep up with her. And then they're arguing over, they're arguing over whether they've arranged all the orders correctly and they got all the items and so forth. And that just adds to the frustration of dealing with these people. If it were left up to me, this would be one that I would pass. Okay, I'm actually heading in the direction of dropping off this Main Moon order. But just as I got about 2 minutes away, having been removed from there, I accepted a $7.63 order from Kairos on Uber Eats. And this order is actually taking me in the direction of the Main Moon drop-off. Now, why did I accept it? I mean, hey, I need some numbers. But I'm not trying to be thirsty either. 763 is a lot closer to my number. Under normal circumstances, I would pass on that order. In fact, about 95% of the time, I would pass on this order. But on a day like this, you're really working to try to save face. At least I am now. That doesn't mean that I'm modifying my goal. I'm just calling it like it is. I'm trying to save face. It would take a miracle for me to reach $200 in the usual amount of time that I'm out here in an evening hustle or evening grind. What that tells me is, obviously when it's slow, that means you're not seeing the volume of orders coming through. Is one thing to sense a vibe, but yet you're sensing a vibe of things not being like they usually have been. But when you see it for yourself, when restaurants are like, hey, it's kind of slow out there, then it's slow, man. But in order to reach the numbers, you got to have the volume. You got to have the volume of orders. And when you're and as I've shared already, if the orders are coming through on one app and it's slow, you're in trouble. And that's been the case most of this evening. Most of the orders have come just on DoorDash, simply because DoorDash is the king of the hill. They command 58% of the market, almost 60% of the market. Now I've got one Uber Eats, and I got one Grubhub, and Grubhub is about to shut down for the evening. In my market, Grubhub shuts down at 9 o'clock. As I mentioned, point pickup. The order I finally accepted, it was canceled. Is what it is. And Roadie, earlier today, the highlight of Roadie for me was when I saw a gig for 135 miles, and they were only paying $37 if me. In fact, there it is on your screen, $37. Now, Roadie, it used to be, if you saw an order for a gig for $135, it was paying at least $100 at a minimum. And since then, it had dropped to, like, you would probably see a $135 order. It had dropped to about $65, $70. But now $37 for 135 miles. Oh man. I guess somebody accepted a half a tank of gas if they were heading in that direction. That's probably the true meaning of Roadie, in that Roadie ideally looks for people. If you just happen to be heading in that direction, here's something to help with your gas. Folk like me who are looking to make money, we're not even going to look at that. But anyway, it is more than likely now that after dropping off these orders, I will be wrapping up this in the morning. I'll be coming back to wrap up this evening grind in the morning. And so as of now, I'll be at more than likely a buck 64 right now, buck 65, somewhere in there. Hopefully when I come back, I will have made more than 175, ideally more than $185. All right, I am back to wrap up yesterday evening's hustle. When I thought that I was finished with yesterday evening's hustle, it was after 9 hours overall and 4 hours in evening hustle. I'd pretty much resigned myself to accepting that I made $176.40 after 9 hours. And for the evening hustle after 4 hours, $72. By the time I took off my shoes, sat in front of the computer to dissect the numbers, I noticed a Uber Eats order notification. And it surprised me because I thought I turned off all my apps. Well, I checked out the order. It was $21.71 from Hooters, and it was going 9 miles. Well, didn't take much convincing for me to accept that order and head over to Hooters and try to complete it. By the time I got to the drop-off location, I also got another Uber Eats order notification. It was for $10 from Stoner Pizza, which is literally across the street from that Hooters drop-off location. And that Stoner Pizza order was going exactly 1 mile. While I'm waiting for the Stoner Pizza order, I get a DoorDash order notification for $10 from Wing Zone, and that location is literally 2 blocks away from the Stoner Pizza drop-off. Well, that Hooters order, there was some drama to go with it, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but the fluffy part though was that and maybe rightfully so, the customer took back all but 10 cents of the tip. Now the order offer was $21.71. Uber Eats pay was $14.88. So if you do the math, the customer actually tipped $6 and $0.80. So the customer took back all of like $6.60, $6.70, $6.80, somewhere in there. So the customer's tip really wasn't worth talking about. But the fact is, this was a case of where I did not expect to have the finish that I had. Altogether, I was out for 10 hours total, making $211 and change. The evening hustle, altogether, I was out $5. Altogether, but the evening hustle, I was out 5 hours. So I was out 5 hours twice yesterday. And so I made just $109, $110 yesterday evening. But again, unexpected, totally unexpected, given how dead things were. And then I've looked at other content creators, content over the last couple of days, and they're saying the same thing in their market. It's just pretty brutal right now. And so the Gig Geezer managed to survive yet for another battle. And this win was definitely one that was unexpected. You have days when you're really confident, you're feeling it. You feel as if you can just run right over them, and you do. But this was one that I pretty much resigned myself to having to accept defeat if it occurred. But that said, this is another segment of the Gig Geezer. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your grind continue.